Hello everybody, today we're going to quickly cover the results from yesterday's primaries, May 12th, in Nebraska and West Virginia. Not a lot of big statewide races to take a look at. These are both fairly red states, especially in West Virginia. But in Nebraska, there are some interesting dynamics at play in the Senate. The Democrat that won the nomination has dropped out. Instead, she's going to back the independent, Dan Osborne, who ran a couple of years ago against Deb Fischer. So that's kind of maybe a dark horse race for the Dems if they're actually looking to take back the Senate. But first, let's start here on West Virginia. Not much to say here. We've got Shelley Moore Capito. She's going to be the nominee running for re-election. She got 2/3 of the vote. For the Dems, we've got Rachel Fetty Anderson. She only won with about 1/3 of the vote in a competitive multi-way race. So those two are going to face off in November. But considering how red the state is, Moore Capito very heavily favored to win re-election. After that, we've got a couple of U.S. House districts. And again, both of these super red, both Republicans last time won by at least 40%. So when it's going to be that uncompetitive in the general, not really a whole lot of point in focusing on the primary. But it was close for the Dems in the first district and in the second. We've got it right here. It still hasn't been called. Ace Parsi is your leader here with just under 40%. So Dems actually having competitive races, even though they stand very little chance in the general. Then after that, we've got the state legislature. I'm not going to go over all the races, but there's a couple of incumbents that went down or some races still outstanding. Then we've got some court races. Let's take a closer look at these. And in all these races, we've apparently got 3 appointees of Governor Jim Justice. And in all 3 races, they all went down. And if we go to the state Supreme Court, it's another competitive race here. But the justice appointee, Gerald Titus, he's done with 26%. I don't think this is really going to change the partisan balance of the court, but without any runoffs, somebody can win or become a nominee with only 30%. Now, this Supreme Court race was a special election. There's also another one down here, Division 2. Again, the appointed incumbent goes down with 58% of the vote. I don't know how significant these map results are, but if you're from this state or follow extremely local politics, it can be notable to see incumbents going down in defeat. So a little bit of action here in the Mountain State. Now let's move on to Nebraska. Here's the big event in November. Pete Ricketts, the incumbent Republican, won with over 80% of the vote. Now, he ran just 2 years ago in a special election. Now this is for the regular election. Now, he's the former governor. He's got a lot of money. His name ID is sky high. And his opponent is actually not even on this New York Times page. The nominee for the Dems here was Cindy Burbank, but she's already dropped out and backed independent Dan Osborne. Now, the reason this happened is this other candidate that's a Democrat has apparently been claimed to be a Republican plant. The idea there is if there was a Democrat on the ballot in November, they're going to split some vote away from Osborne, and that's going to make it more competitive. So now it looks like it's going to be Ricketts against Osborne. Should be a good race, but Osborne is going to be the underdog. And we've also got governor. Incumbent Jim Pillen, he got the nomination with over 75% of the vote. And for the Dems, they've got Lynn Waltz as their nominee. She's over 91%. So it's not extremely red, but it's a red enough state where Pillen is clearly going to be the favorite. Then we've got some U.S. House races. Now there's one notable race here that's going to be for the Dems in the 2nd district. Let's take a closer look at that one. Now, this is the district that covers Omaha. It's currently represented by Republican Don Bacon, but he's retiring. Given the blue-leaning environment and given how this district did vote for Harris, it's expected that Dems have a very viable pickup opportunity here. So they had a big battle here, but eventually Denise Powell did defeat John Kavanaugh by only a couple of points. So in November, Powell is going to go on to face Brinker Harding. Now this district is kind of notable because they voted for 3 different political parties in the 24 election. They did Harris, the Democrat, for president, Bacon, the Republican, for the U.S. House, and Dan Osborne, the independent, in the U.S. Senate. So kind of a nice fun fact there, but Dems expected to be able to flip this seat. It's not a guarantee, but the days of the narrow Bacon wins seem like they might be over. After that, not much action here in the U.S. House. There's an outside chance in the 1st district. If the Dems have a big tsunami, they could potentially have another reach target there for a pickup opportunity. And the 3rd district is extremely red. Nothing's going to change there. Then we've got the state legislature, and this is the only one that's unicameral in the U.S., and everyone is also technically nonpartisan. So many of these uncontested. Then we've got some other statewide races. You could take a look at these results here. Not much to take a look at except for one. Secretary of State, Republican primary. Here's the results right here. The incumbent was actually defeated here by Scott Peterson. It's actually not even extremely close. It's almost 10%. So that's notable. It's another incumbent going down. So again, because the state is so red, Peterson likely to be the winner in November, but he is going to go on to face Sarah Slattery, the winner for the Dems. So that's what we've got for the results for yesterday, May 12th. I did do another stream. Thanks to everybody that showed up. More primaries are coming up the next several weeks. Not sure how many streams are going to be able to squeeze in, but that's a recap of these primary results. So let me know in the comments. What do you think about the dynamics picks for the Nebraska Senate? What about anything in West Virginia or Nebraska 2nd? Let me know what you think down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.